I'm Laura Donnell. Welcome back to the Common Dog Podcast. I'm here with JB, as I usually am. And this is our friend Harley. You want to talk a little bit about who this big girl is?
She's pushing me into the wall.
We're going to go lamb-blasting.
We're going to go ramming into the wall. So Harley is, oh my gosh, I forgot. She's, I believe, 4 years old. I could be wrong. She is a Great Dane Mastiff mix, and she's been coming to us for about a year. I want to say it might be just under a year, but
I don't think she's 4. Isn't she 3?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's like somewhere in the 3 to 5. Once a dog hits like 3 years old, we're like
they're grown-ups.
They're in their 30s.
Hi, sweet girl. Yeah.
So Harley started about a year ago. She does daycare, she does boarding, she does structured daycare, she does grooming, and most importantly, which is what we're talking about today,
literally throwing you backward,
is she did a board and train when she started with us. So today our topic is board and trains, what we do with them, why we decide to go with a board and train, and yeah, what we look for in a dog when we're working with them with the board and trains. So she started, first time I met her, she sat behind her mom and growled and barked at me.
Yeah.
She had,
she is bound and determined to throw you out of the way. She's like, I am the star of the show. I should be in the middle.
Harley is very much the star of everything. So she was very afraid of people. She was reactive with dogs. They live, in the Boston neighborhood.
Are they in an apartment or a house?
They are in an apartment. They're on the third floor,
right,
in their apartment.
Which you wouldn't expect Great Danes to be good apartment dogs.
They actually
but
are.
They're great apartment dogs. They're typically short burst of energy type dogs, and then they lay down and they go to sleep.
Yeah,
thank goodness. Or they take out everything in your apartment. You gonna go walk around, Harles? All right. She's gonna go walk around.
She's like, you're not letting me push you. So
yes. So Harley, honestly, is a great client. She does really well with our enrichment daycare. She does really well with our structured daycare. She did fabulously well, especially with an awesome trainer. In our board and train program.
She
obviously
did the play and learn too, which was great for her because it got her to interact with more and more people.
For those that aren't familiar, our play and learn, we offered it sort of as an alternate to a dog park. It was we used our indoor dog park as an indoor dog park on Sundays and had people come along with their dog to hang out and let their dog get socialized and get some exercise while we, predominantly me and JB, but some of our other trainers as well, gave them some insight into their own dog and other dogs' body language and how to help their dog exist around other dogs and be calmer and play and so on. And really help with that. What so many clients see with their own dogs is on-leash aggression. So they'd come in with their dog on leash, take them off leash once everything got kind of settled and comfortable. Yes, good morning. And ultimately, it turned out to be a great success. So we're definitely going to do that again as the winter
comes again.
Yeah, winter
I was
comes again.
Too, possibly in the summer when
It's
wicked
super hot. Yeah.
Like in your July and August months, because our facility is AC and heat. So
right. Well, and on those really hot days,
it's hard.
We can come in and turn on the sprinklers and the splash
probably half passes out being in the outside for
right.
5 minutes.
Yeah. Really hard for them to cool off.
Yes. So she came to us with some fear, reactivity on leash, and just all around over attachment to mom and mom's sister
right.
who she lives with. And she, we talked to her about the board and train. I mean, the main reason for her in particular is she had zero confidence in her own self and how to navigate the world. And on top of that, because she had somewhat of a sad story, they believe, there was some sort of abuse or,
just
she
a
got
bad
hit by
history.
A car, something. Something must have happened to her. She's got some scar tissue on her sides. And they're not 100% sure, but because of that, and because that's what rescues will tell you when you get your dog.
Right.
They
try to tell you as much as they can about what they know,
so that you can give your dog the best chance. But because you hear abuse in that terminology, you want to give that dog all of the love possible the second you get them, because you want them to learn that humans are good, and they will immediately attach themselves to you. And then
we see it with rescues all the time, very much. So let's take a step back though, because we're here today to talk about training. But since we have Harley here, we can kind of start out with how our board and train works. But whether it's an existing client that utilizes our other services that's interested in training, or it's a brand new client that comes to us searching for training, our first step is what we call a discovery meeting, where we schedule an hour with the client and their dog, and have them come in.
Litany of questions.
Yeah, tons and tons. The first 15, 20 minutes is all just a Q&A about as much as we can learn about the dog, their history. And a lot of them come
how they
to us,
live with their dog and interact with their dog.
A lot of them don't have any history. They're like, I don't know, it was a rescue. This is how we got them. And then, yes, it's specific questions like, where do you live? Do you live in an apartment? Are you dealing with an elevator? How is your dog around other dogs when you're at the end of the leash? How is your dog when they're not on leash? Just a whole bunch of questions, which is why we call it a discovery meeting. So we try to learn as much as we can. And then we actually work with the dog. We work with the dog on leash. We touch the dog everywhere on and off leash. We have the owners work with their dog. We take the dog away from the room. We have the owners leave the room. We do all kinds of little special tests that gives us, a kind of a bird's eye view as much as we possibly can to learn about the dog. And then we, if the clients don't know us, if they're brand new to us, we talk about what is our strategy and approach to training in and of itself, our methodology. We call ourselves relationship trainers. Basically what that means is we view all dogs as individuals. Every dog is different, and hence every dog requires different training, right? You can't have a cookie cutter approach to how you work dogs. So I've had dogs that are severe aggression, really want to eat me, their owner, everyone, to dogs that are so incredibly timid that they're afraid of air, and everything in between. And, we've worked with so many different kinds of dogs, which is really kind of cool about being in a daycare setting, because we have people come to us with every breed, every scenario. We've seen it all. We've really seen it all.
And there are times that you get something, you're like, whoa, I haven't
run into this before. It's pretty rare. I've been training for 30 years now. You've been training for 11 years. We've seen a lot. So, but that discovery meeting opens up all kinds of windows for us, and we talk about how, our approach, which as relationship-based trainers, all that means is we kind of steal from every methodology under the sun. I trained a dog that you literally could not say no to, could not give a correction to. The dog would shut down, hit the deck and shut down. And this was a dog that was biting his owner and anybody else that came near him. So I couldn't, I couldn't find any tactic that reached this dog. So I really had to change things up and find a new way. Sorry, guys. Find a new way to communicate with him. And then, we've had dogs that definitely require kind of more traditional training. Firmer training, definitely, in terms of dealing with a dog that just is not going to listen, that has no interest or respect for the human race. Those are the dogs that don't care about people at all, or worse,
or anything,
or anything. Food, don't care about. Those are the hardest to train, believe it or not.
It was a huge Pyrenees mix, but he was wire haired a while back, and he did not care about anything. Didn't care about food, didn't care about people. You couldn't make a relationship with him, which was hard because we're relationship based, right? The only thing he cared about is he wanted to roll in the grass.
That was his favorite thing in the whole world. And we will ask our clients, what's their thing? What do they love the most?
So we would work them, and I would work them for 5 whole minutes, and then we would go roll in the grass. And then I work them another 5 whole minutes, And then I go let him roll in the grass. That was his reward. He was like, all right, I'll get through this. I guess
I guess
I'll
well
do this.
remember those doxies that I trained that didn't even care about their owners? Like
Mm.
they no one could connect with them. It took me 3 weeks just to gain a connection with them.
Yep.
And then it clicked. Then it was, and when they went home, I showed their owners how to connect with their dog. And it was this nirvana, light went on. Oh my gosh, this is so great. And they had a great relationship with their dogs from there on out and had no more problems.
Yeah.
So, but sometimes it's the discovery phase can last a while.
Yeah.
So
it's, and we have so many different like programs here to try and tailor make what your training experience can be here. And the board and train is like the Cadillac of our programs.
Well,
because
it's that, and there's really 2 instances which I most always will recommend a board and train. One is severe aggression, right? You're dealing with a dog that has severe aggression. We need to kind of do a reboot, a reset with this dog, and see where we can back this up and then kind of start over.
And aggression doesn't necessarily mean reactivity. Like leash reactivity and aggression are very different
things. So absolutely. It's okay. All right, Halls. And then the other is just severe separation anxiety. It's very, very hard for an owner to do private lessons and help that dog gain more confidence and learn to stand on their own 4 paws when their problem is the relationship with their owner. And that's separation anxiety. It's a relationship problem where the dog can't breathe without that owner. That's their sole reason for existing in the dog's mind. And
one of the main reasons why we have to end up taking them is it's not even just about the dog, the owner. These are both learned behaviors on both parties, right? So the dog has learned to be attached to the owner. The owner has learned that the dog just has free reign to be in their space all the time. Well,
our natural inclination as humans is to coddle something that's suffering, right? That is our natural inclination, is to coddle something.
Anybody is doing wrong. They're doing what they feel.
But that doesn't help the dog.
Right.
That does not. It actually makes the dog less secure, far more insecure, and ultimately the dog has way more anxiety, if we want to put a human word to what they're experiencing. And it really, really decreases their quality of life.
Right.
And that's what is most important to us in terms of our approach to training, is trying to make the dog happier and healthier and the owner happier and healthier. I mean, let's face it, we get dogs to, because we love dogs and we want them to be a part of our lives. If we become prisoners or can't do anything with the dog or away from the dog,
then it's not an addition to your life.
Right. It's you're a prisoner to your animal, and that sucks for them and for you.
Right.
So
they should be an addition to your life, not a detriment to your life. And
or an anchor. You can't go anywhere, you can't do anything. You're always feeling bad that your dog is suffering.
Right.
So
or at home because you can't do anything with them, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that's one of the questions that we ask is what is your lifestyle like? Like, do you have people over your house? Do you want to go to breweries? Do you want to hike?
Breweries. Do you want to go to restaurants, or not just breweries?
But like people like the breweries are like
coffee shops,
super popular right now in our area. So, and on top of that, knowing where they live helps, because if you live in an apartment building and I have to tell you to crate train your dog, that is a struggle. And there's a lot of yelling on the dog's part in the beginning when they're trying to get used to this stuff.
Well, and this is a safe place for a dog to protest,
right?
To make noise. If I tell you hey, let's start trying to crate your dog, because we're big believers in crate training, it just helps on so many different fronts. But your dog is going to scream through this for the first 2 or 3 days. That's really hard to do if you live in an apartment. So
and no matter how much like positive reinforcement you can do, and we do a ton of positive reinforcement with the crate itself, it changes the second you start to close the door, walk away from the dog. So it takes a lot of time and patience. I mean, it takes with Harley, it took me like 2 hours one day of just like consistent crate work just to get her to be in it with the door closed.
Right.
Where she wasn't trying to break out, whatever the case is. And it takes a lot of patience that people don't typically have or
Right.
know.
Well, dogs are den animals, right? So instinctively, they should like to be in an enclosed area and feel safe. But so, so often if you've got a dog that has never experienced a crate or a den-like atmosphere, or worse yet, it was a really negative experience, that makes it, extra special hard. So, we introduce the crate with all kinds of positives and treats, and we sit with them, and it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of positive reinforcement. And ultimately, I can't think of a dog that we couldn't end up having success with the crate.
We didn't actually do a training session with them. We had one recently that would just break out of everything that we had.
Oh yeah, it was touching my microphone and probably making noise. Sorry guys.
And it was like super unsafe, and we couldn't find a place.
He broke out of my impact crate, which is a $1,200 you can't break out of crate. Well, he broke out of it.
Yeah, so that's the only instance that I know of. I mean, we definitely have. There's a lot of dogs that once you start crating them, they're like, okay.
Well, that for my dogs. They instinctively go to that when there's any sort of strife in my house. They're like crates. They just take themselves right to their crates. My crates are like furniture. I bought them from Wayfair. And they look kind of like furniture.
Yeah, I have one too.
And so they're right in my living room. So my dogs, when it's time for bed, that's where they go. When there's, I have a teenager at home. When there's a little strife going on, that's right where they go. When they take a nap, that's where they go. When they are just ready to kind of be away from the hustle and bustle of the house,
each other.
That's where or each other, especially my boxer. She's, really gets tired of my Belgian Malinois. She's just like, I'm done. I'm going to put myself in the crate to get away from you and all of that going on.
And my dog, she uses it to get away from my kids. I have a 3-year-old, so and that lends itself.
You wish you had a crate for yourself.
I wish I had my crate for myself. I'll go in that thing all day long, and that lends itself. I also have a program here called Dogs to Diapers, and that we've done board and trains with. It's not always a board and train, but it's a specific program for people who are having kids.
Well, that's important to note. We talk more people out of board and trains. We have so many people come here and say, oh, well, I just want you to train the dog and give it back to me all trained. That's not how it works. The reality is the real training starts when the dog goes home after spending time with us. Right. So there is no, oh, your dog is trained and, you don't have to do anything. That's not how training works. We relationship-based trainers forge a relationship with your dog to train them, but then we train the owner. And that is vital in order for this training to work. For it to have any legs, the owner has to be trained. So, she ran away. She's like, don't rub my face, you. So yeah, we talk more people out of board and trains. When when we meet with them in a discovery meeting, oftentimes we'll say, hey, you don't need a board and train. Maybe 1 or 2 private sessions, maybe some structured daycare, maybe just some daycare in general. Right.
3 weeks, like that's a horrible.
Well, and that's why we try to do shortened board and trains. Most professional dog trainers will take your dog for 4 to 6 weeks. I don't think I could go 6 weeks without my dog. I've never taken more than a 9-day vacation because I can't be away from my dogs that long. So we try to do a whole lot condensed, which means your dog gets a lot of training and a lot of one-on-one time. And we're not just a 1 or 2 trainer shop. We have multiple trainers here.
Yeah, who all have their hands on those dogs.
Who all have their hands on your dog. And then just our enrichment daycare. Again, it's working with staff, going in and out of yards and being handled and holding them accountable for manners. And or if they do structured daycare or structured daycare only, again, that's that extension of that arm.
And sometimes that in of itself, like the daycare part, helps a lot. Of like this one here. She came out of her shell tremendously when we started getting her in group. And
well, when I first met her, she wanted to eat me. Yeah. Like she's like, no, I love JB. I don't love you. Yeah. And it took a while because I didn't actually have much hand in her training when she was here for her board and train. So she and I became friendly while she was here for daycare.
Yes.
Because I would walk back into the park, into our indoor dog park, and she has this big, mellow, deep bark, and she would bark at me, and I'm like, oh, she's being serious. She's being serious. So, and that, didn't take very long for her to get over, but she's now fine with all of our staff. She's really good with her mom. She's just
vice president of my fan club at this point.
Yeah.
Charlie Shea is always president.
Yeah, so he's always president.
He's always president. But it's thanks. There's so many different reasons why we could take a dog, but like you said, there's two prime ones.
Those are the two prime ones.
And I like taking dogs for that. So if you're about to give birth and you don't know what to do with your dog. So I have that. When you have a baby
and we keep your dog.
We keep your dog. And
we train your dog while you're doing the whole home baby thing.
If you've done training with me before, if you haven't, there's, different time frames and whatnot.
And then you bring the dog actually back to their house.
Back to their house.
That's part of the
wants to bring
service.
A newborn out in the world.
Not right away.
In the beginning, the first couple of weeks.
And even if they do, it's still nice that you bring you bring the dog to their house and slowly introduce.
Nervous in the very beginning. Yeah. They don't know what the dog is going to do. Babies are weird. They do weird motions and stuff when they're really little. So they're everybody's very nervous. So having the professional there and just being like, okay, this is exactly what you do here, here, and here.
Right.
There are things that I will always do for those situations. I will always muzzle train. We will always crate train because.
Well, in place.
Place
is really important. Crate is really important.
Because crate has saved, and I have, experience in this. My dog was actually terrified of my son when he was born and would growl at him. So I had to deal with this myself.
Right.
But crating her helped tremendously because if I couldn't pay attention to both of them, one of them had to, go. And I could.
Well, same with my Mel. She doesn't like kids or fast movements or any of that. So it was. Friends would come over, my son's friends, and she would go to crate because otherwise she was fine with my son, but she didn't like his friends.
Yeah.
So crate, place, that training, knowing that, having that sense of confidence, knowing you have control over your pup and they're better for it. So you don't have a situation that goes sideways on you. It's so calming. It really, really helps you as the owner, which then you project that confidence and calmness and your dog feeds on it. So you're not sitting there nervous and freaked out that, your dog is going to, steal your baby.
Yeah.
or do something bad.
And it's, it's nice because I don't ever train one dog the same as I would the next dog, even if they're the same breed or has the same issues. It's nice because me and the way my brain works, doing the same thing over and over again, it drains me. So, this job and doing a different thing today as I'm doing tomorrow, it keeps me alert, I feel.
Well, it keeps you interested. It keeps, it makes you love your job.
Yeah.
Right? We love our job. We love our job in that we get to deal with so many different walks of life, from people to dogs and all of that entails.
Yeah. And seeing the progress that gets made. The nice thing is when she still comes for daycare, right? So I get to hear the updates from her mom.
And we keep in touch with clients who,
how are things going,
who don't utilize our services. They live too far away, or their dog just, isn't a good fit for daycare or whatever. We stay in touch. Our clients send us pictures and give us updates. I get
progress videos from people I haven't touched their dog in 2 years.
Right. So, or longer.
So it's really nice to see that lasting impression that it makes. And it makes me, we don't want to take somebody that isn't going to put the work in because it's a waste of the time that we put in and their money. So there's definitely been
we're
cases.
really straightforward with people. This is what you're going to have to do. And that's what we go over a lot in the discovery meeting as well. We'll say, hey, this is what we see. This is what our plan of action that we think is going to help you reach your goals.
And this is likely what you're going to have to do.
This is not what your life is going to look like. For the short term, this is what it's going to look like. And for the long term, this is it's good. So we're really honest with people. And ultimately, I think that honesty goes a long way, but we are also available to our clients. We don't charge for emails. We don't charge for phone calls. We are your trainer forever, you know?
Get whoever your lead trainer is for your dog. Well, you'll have access to their phone number. So, you know, I get texts and stuff from clients all the time about, hey,
Just a quick question, or hey, I saw this.
Can I do this with my dog?
Right.
Or hey, I recently there's like been a setback, and I'm like, okay, what have you done?
Right. And we may schedule an in-home.
Right.
We may schedule it around a quick vacation where we take the dog back for a few days.
We can troubleshoot and say, try
or literally just come in for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
we're gonna work in the lobby, and you'll be set. You know, no charge.
Right. So it's we're your trainers for life. We say that all the time. We're the dog's trainers for their life. And it's extremely emotional, and we, you know, care a lot about what ends up happening with these guys. So
yeah, we get really attached. Maybe
obviously.
Not entirely the most professional thing to do, but so. Well, I think our tip for today is probably should be around crates.
Yeah.
Crates.
So if you...
Oh, you have a new program we wanted to mention, though. The parents...
Yeah, the parent teacher conference. So for anybody who has done structured and anybody who hasn't done structured yet and wants to, this is going to benefit you as well.
Our structured daycare program, for those that don't know, is it's a daycare program where the focus is all about training. We only have limited spots, so you need to have a reservation for this. And your dog, for the day that they're here, gets worked by one of our trainers. And every day we have a different topic focus that we work on, whether it's cooperative care, grooming,
play training,
reactive training on leash, that kind of stuff. So
stuff.
It's fun, it's cool. But you created this new program.
Yeah, so parent teacher conference, it's basically like a class so that we can recreate what a structured daycare day would look like for a short, hour long session.
And helping the owners take
you guys
away
know
from
what we're doing with them
and how to build on that, that at home.
We give them report cards and stuff, but it's really hard to kind of communicate exactly what is being done and the nuancy things, like our structure.
And seeing it in real time.
And seeing it in real time.
So
and like, oh, you can get your dog to do this, and you didn't know that. Like we had that corgi yesterday. They didn't know that we could get it on a treadmill. And I'm like, here. Like, this is how you do it. Treadmill. So it's going to help kind of bridge the gap of, yes, now we've trained your dog, now we're going to train you. And structured daycare is great for just like general obedience, confidence building. Some dogs just like it better.
Well, it's layered, so there's lots to it. But it's also for dogs that can't, for whatever reason, necessarily utilize our regular enrichment daycare, because we put our hands on every dog, whether they're here for enrichment daycare or structured daycare. Structured daycare is just far more focused and far more training centric.
Yeah. And some dogs love that so much more than...
Well, that's what my dog does.
Yeah.
So
but our training tip
is crates. Crates.
So if you haven't introduced a crate, it should be as much positive as possible. Feeding them,
I use tons of food with crates.
Feeding them their meals in their crate.
Sit by their crate, right? You can, especially if you have a smaller dog and their crate is easy to move and they're somewhat apprehensive to go in the crate, put the crate right next to you where you're watching TV and throw some kibble in, let them go in. They can come in and out as they please. Then you build that up to, all right, we're going to close the door for a little bit. Just kisses for the faces, yes.
And if your dog finds out that they don't have any other options to lay in, they're going to choose the comfy bed that you put in your crate.
Yep.
So kicking them off of the furniture for a little while, so that, and it goes along with when you're using crate, a lot of the times we're using it to create separation from you and your dog. You guys need to have some healthy boundaries, right?
Well, healthy boundaries, and your dog needs a safe place. They need a safe place. So if something's going on, they need a place they know they can go to, and it's comfortable. It's not you. Mm-hmm. And that helps with separation anxiety.
It helps them learn how to soothe on their own.
Right. Self-soothing, which is so important for everything on the planet. So anyway, that's our tip for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for joining us, Harley. Whatever you're trying to eat over there, please stop. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.